So I finally caved into the dark side and used a setup that I never previously used or very briefly used in the past, but I don't really remember. Anyways, so it is the Zek FA short combined with the 8mm Klauser rounds on the automaton, and this is just honestly absolutely disgusting. It kills so fast. It's probably the most overpowered gun in the entire game. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this gameplay. And yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and talk about some things here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little gameplay breakdown here. I rush B right off the rip, and the reason I rush B off the rip is just because I mean, for me, I'm an OBJ player. That's really just how I like to do things usually. I really just like making sure that I'm playing around the flag and, you know, just getting some kills around it, try to defend it, maybe get some streaks as well once I go ahead and cap it. And since I already capped it, I'm going to go ahead and push the spawn here because people are going to be freshly spawning in, and I'm trying to push them up, pin them back, and that way they cannot touch B. So that's why I'm pushed up here. Now, mounting with this thing is disgusting. It gives you pretty much zero recoil, and you know I'm going to abuse the hell out of that because, I mean, it's a little floaty. You know, the gun's a little floaty if you're kind of trying to pick people off at angles that, you know, are pretty small, I guess you could say, pretty slim. So yeah, mounting it's really going to help you out, and I end up getting a local informant right here, 20 points into the match, so it was pretty nice there. And I am going to get stuck on the stairs here, which is just kind of bad timing. I was kind of freaking out because I ran out of bullets, and I didn't want to use the rat just because I was weak and I wasn't trusting it. Honestly, I should have probably pulled out the rat in retrospect, but hindsight's 20/20. Anyways, right here, accidental mantle. Just want to try to jump over and just 3-bullet him, but this is Call of Duty now. Come on now. You guys know, I know, that there's auto-mantling in this game whenever you're near a ledge, and I wish they would have an option to turn it off, but there's no option to actually turn it off. The option that does exist doesn't work, so, or at least the way I want it to. Yeah, I end up picking up all these kills right here, get Ego Child there at the end, and still win the gunfight. Like I said, this thing is disgusting, especially on small maps, close quarters maps. If you use this gun on something like Tuscan, this map, Hotel Royale, it's just unstoppable. Radar from MW3, that map as well is really good on pretty much any close quarters map. This is probably just like the most dominant gun in the game. But anyway, so I'm back pushing the spawn. We got the locals up. At this point, whenever the locals are up, I mean, you can just play however you want to play because you know where all the enemies are. And if you have Ninja combined with Ghost, I mean, you're pretty much going to be silent on the map. They're not going to be able to know where you're coming from at all from any direction. So, you know, you have the upper hand once you have locals, Ninja, and Ghost all on at the exact same time. Now, in this gameplay, I had survival training on because there's a lot of action going on this map here, Eagle's Nest. So I figured Ninja was not going to be as needed as something like if I'm playing 6v6 or if I'm playing on like Berlin or Red Star, something where there's a little bit less action and footsteps can actually be heard. But in this game, for the most part, oh, by the way, bad spawn right here. That got me killed. Blitz is pretty notorious for having bad spawns in this game. Like, pretty much everyone I talk to agrees with me on Blitz is the reason the spawns are so bad in this game. Like, if you're primarily a Blitz player, you run into bad spawns so often, and it's just because there's, in my opinion, on a lot of these maps, there are way too many players on the maps. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me because they prefer the constant action and stuff, and I mean, while it's nice and all, and I do enjoy it, it is the reason why the spawns are so bad. Like, Eagle's Nest is not designed for 10 versus 10 gameplay, okay? So neither is, like, Tuscan or Radar from MW3, you know, maps like that, those smaller maps, those are designed more for, like, 6v6, maybe even, like, 8v8 max for proper flow and spawn logic. So if you're going to be playing, you know, Blitz, you just got to expect there's some bad spawns in the game, and that's why I always highly recommend you run the forward intel perk whenever you're playing Blitz game modes, because any non-cold-blooded user is just going to show up as like a little diamond on a mini-map. It's going to give you an indicator saying like, hey, people are spawning here. Now, it's not going to give like too many if there's a lot of people spawning there because it already gave you a ping. So you just got to watch out for that little ping, and it will let you know. That seems to be how it will work. If they're all spawning close to the diamond that's already on there, it seems to not want to like spam your radar with diamonds. So I'm still not 100% sure how the perk works. I'm pretty sure like no one is, but basically, like, as long as if you're not running cold-blooded, you will be showing up on that, like if you're spawning in and the enemy has forward intel on. So it really helps you out, especially when there's no local informants up, and you're looking for spawn flips and anything like that, trying to run the map. But as you guys can see, we had them 3 capped. I mean, it's pretty much just running around and making decisions, just chasing dots on the radar at this point, especially whenever you're playing with other people, because they're going to be able to get local informants off your own local informants if you're playing in a competent party or whatnot. So that's pretty much what's going on in this gameplay here. Now, if you are in a situation where, let's say, there's not a lot of local informants going up, and like, let's just say I'm playing solo or you're playing solo or whatnot, and let's say you're not even running the local informants, so basically it's just going to turn into you're kind of just holding angles onto the enemy spawn and just kind of paying attention to your radar, looking for forward intel pings to make sure that the flips aren't spawn, or the spawns aren't flipping, and that's going to help you guys out a lot whenever it comes to playing like that. So you just kind of push up to the enemy spawn, just hold them out, and you should find some success there. But other than that, I mean, this game. This game probably has some of the worst spawns in COD history, and I feel like it just kind of compromises competitive integrity a lot of the matches and like how they flow, and a lot of the times there's just nothing you can do about people spawning in your back. Sometimes you'll even like own A and B and people will still be spawning A, even though they should be spawning C. Like, I've noticed this happens a lot on like Bocage, and just there's some maps in this game that the spawns are not sticky at all, and they just flip so easy. This map's actually a lot stickier than you would think it would be. So Eagle's Nest is one of those maps where you actually kind of have some consistency to the spawns, as long as you don't push out past the flag. You guys can see we're all just kind of chilling. As soon as a teammate breaks through here, that's whenever things are going to start going a little haywire. You can see teammates are starting to push through, and all of a sudden they start to flip. So if you get a little antsy, you go ahead and try to push through C past that, like, draw an imaginary line, like, across the map horizontally perpendicular to C, and then pretty much at that point, that's when the spawn's going to flip. So the spawns in this game much harder to control in something like Black Ops Cold War, Modern Warfare 19, just because they're way more flippy than those games. So but other than that, I mean, man, Vanguard, if you want to know really how to do well in Blitz is just all about just holding down lines of sight, because there's so many people on the map. I feel like Blitz, there's less movement in Blitz unless you have a local informants up, or spy plane with no one running ghosts, just because of how flippy the spawns are, and it's super chaotic. So in my opinion, that's just the best thing you could do is just, you got to play the spawns. You got to understand where the general direction is of the enemies, and of course they are going to be flipping. So anyways, that's pretty much all I want to talk about, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.